So about 6 months ago, our school had its 10-year birthday, and I didn't get a chance to film this video back then, and so I'm doing it for you now. These are my top 10 tips that have helped me grow from a small, little small school in an old shed to the large music school that we have today. So here is tip number 1. Pay attention to the tension. In your business, whether you're at a small school or a big one, you're going to have all these little tensions and things that frustrate you, things that frustrate customers, frustrate staff, frustrate students. You're going to think, oh, don't be frustrated by these. I work so hard. I don't want to hear the negative stuff. But really, you need to pay attention to those tensions, because every time there's a tension, then you need to actually pay attention, because there's a system that's broken, there's a problem that needs to be solved, there's a tough conversation that needs to be had, and you need to walk towards the mess there. That's number 1. Number 2, just as I hinted there, is to walk towards the mess. So when you've got a messy situation, you need to actually be proactive, not reactive, okay? You need to actually be able to see messes that are happening. Maybe it's a staff member that's unhappy and they're the only tutor of this instrument, and you know that they're probably going to leave. Students are exiting because of them. You need to start looking for another replacement now, and you need to actually just walk towards the mess and be proactive about problems, not just reactive, meaning like crap hits the fan, now you deal with it. No, you want to be proactive and get onto the case much earlier before the problem arises. Number 3 is to pay extra for the right person. Oh man, I could talk for an hour on this. The amount of times where I hired someone who was cheaper and just didn't do as good a job, and the amount of pain and trouble that had caused me, and the cost so many times. It's when I think about the difference of actually paying some of the people that are my highest paid people who do the best job, I remember thinking, I can't really, it's so much more than I'm paying other people, but then these are the people that make the biggest difference, and I would far rather pay someone a bit more and have them do an amazing job than hire someone that's kind of a bit average and is cheaper. And one of the things I found is as things get more and more stressful as you build something, it's actually when you've got really good people, that gets you the most fired up about what you're doing, because you feel supported, you feel like they've got your back, you feel like you're working as a team. And so my encouragement to you is to not always try and find the best deal and find the cheapest person that can do the job, but just pay that little bit extra to get the right person, because the right person will unlock a whole lot more potential for you. Next one, number 4, marry the mission and date the model. That's not my saying, I've taken that from someone else. But this is the idea that we are married to the mission of our school. So we have a vision, a clear mission of what we're trying to achieve, and that's never going to change. But the model, the way that we do it, well, we date that. We give it a go. We try and see if it fits. If it doesn't fit, well, we stop that model and we move on to the next one. Much like you don't just necessarily marry the first person that you date. You get to know them. You see whether you're compatible, whether it works. And if it doesn't work, well, you don't just, stay married, and, well, some people do. It causes dramas. But you're free to change and try a different model. And so you always need to be open to changing the model. A lot of people just teach music lessons one-on-one for 30 minutes at $30 a half hour because that's the way everyone else does it. Why? Why can't you do it in 45-minute lessons with 2 people and charge them $25? There's endless ideas, and so you need to be open to changing the different models. And so with our approach, that's led to so many different changes the way that we do things, and we'll continue to change and tweak things. So be open to staying married to your mission, what you're trying to achieve, but the model, the way that you do it, you can date that. So there we go, that's number 4. Number 5, you need to diversify. So once the main thing that you do is music lessons is steady, well, then you need to diversify and get some other things happening, okay? We talk about in our sort of our charitable arm of our business having more than one leg to a stool. So the idea, if you've got a stool, usually has at least 3 legs. We actually want 4 or 5, 6 legs. The more legs you've got to your stool, if one of them snapped off, you're still going to be held up, okay? And so for you as a music teaching business owner, you want to make sure that you have more than one leg to your stool. So the first thing that you want to do, obviously, is if you're teaching on your own, well, you are the only leg to that stool. If you get sick, no income. If you want to take a holiday, no income. If you break your leg and you can't play the drums, no income, okay? So the first thing you want to do is be able to replicate yourself and get a team member. So you're sick, someone else covers. You go on holiday, someone else covers. You still earn income. So that's step one. And obviously there's a lot of other things you can do. You can do online things. You can do concerts in schools. You can do school programs. You can do holiday or holiday workshops, holiday programs, or summer camps, as some people call them. There's all these different things that you can be doing. Selling merchandise, writing your own curriculum books to sell to students. Huge amount of other things. So make sure that you try and add those little would you like fries with that, those additions to your school and that help you diversify. Number 6, this one is to celebrate the wins more. When you are focusing on building a business and you are trying to make it awesome, you can really beat yourself up because you're always focusing on the things that need improving. And one thing that I would do much better over the last 10 years is I would have stopped a lot more and celebrated the wins, because there were so many amazing things that happened and we just powered on because we're always shooting for a higher level. So I encourage you to stop more and celebrate the wins. If you passed another 10 students or another 50 students, celebrate. Bring morning tea in for you and your team, or shout yourself to the movies, whatever. Do something to celebrate the little micro achievements that you make, because running a business is really hard, and it's nice to actually look back and celebrate all the things that you've done to improve it, no matter how big or small. Number 7, I would intentionally train your team on leadership right from the start, because you need to change people's hearts if you actually want them to care about your business, okay? And so this has been, I guess, one of the things that we've done really well is we've not only, developed teams and managed them well in terms of teaching and impacting kids, but we've talked heaps about leadership and how to be a great leader, and we even have little staff conferences. And even today I sent out a video a video about something that I'm learning, and about 10 little bullet points for our team to read. And so every week there's something that's going out. We're training people about thinking about how to be a better worker, better leader, and to take ownership for what they're doing in life. So if you want really great people, make sure that you're training them up in leadership. And a really great book, I'll just see it on my screen there, that you can start by getting people to read, or I would gift them, because you can probably get it for, $15, is this book here. Developing the Leader Within You by John C. Maxwell. I give this to pretty much every one of my team members, and we have chapter questions that go with it, and this gets people thinking about leadership. I wasn't going to say this in this video, but it's so good. It's the best sort of beginning leadership book to get people thinking. If you haven't read it and you've got a team member, you need to order this right now. There we go. Let's move on. Next point. Number 8, don't just make a profit, but make a difference. One of the big keys to our success has been we've always done some charitable stuff on the side, and that has eventually grown into something pretty massive. So pick something you're passionate about. I know in our BAM squad, everyone has to have a little charitable focus in their music schools. Some people are helping teach underprivileged kids. Some people are performing at retirement homes. Some people are helping pet shelters. Some people are helping autistic kids. Some people are working with Down syndrome kids. Some people are working with poorer areas. Some people are doing busking marathons so they can give food to a food bank. There's so many amazing things, because our BAM squad are just legends. But try and have some charitable aspect to your school, because you want to make a difference with what you're doing. And it doesn't take that much effort to go, hey, once a month we're going to do this thing, or I'm going to have one spot in my teaching timetable that I'm going to give for free to a kid that would never be able to afford lessons. And what you can do eventually is you snowball that by talking about it, by getting support, by getting people to help fundraise, and you, as long as you've got a big vision for something, you can grow it from something small to something big. And people like to shop with businesses that are doing something charitable, and that's one way to help boost your image in the community, so that when people think about music lessons, they naturally think of your business, and they've seen all the great work that you do. And when it comes down to choosing between you and another school, well, a lot of people are just going to go with the school where they know their dollars also make a difference in the community. So have a think about what you're passionate about and what you could use to build as a little side project in your music school. Let's move on. Number 9. The road to awesome is paved with 1,000 invitations to return to average. Oh, that's so true. You will literally get like millions of opportunities that are just going to sidetrack you to do stuff. And you're on this path, you're trying to build a successful music school business. You get asked to do all these things, and a lot of them are time wasters. They're not going to serve the bigger purpose of trying to get there. Now, of course, we want to have our charitable focus we've just talked about, and so if things relate to that, great. We might do that stuff for free. But in terms of some of the other things, like, they're just going to waste your time. The bigger that your school gets, the more focused your time has to get if you want it to really succeed. Number 10 is, the bigger that your music teaching business gets, the more you need to focus on it still having that small business feeling, okay? So there's going to be a time, if you are building a business, where it's going to move from you doing everything. You're teaching every student, to doing all the emails, answering all the phone calls, sending out all the newsletters, and you're going to have to change that, because you can't grow something bigger than yourself if you are the only person doing everything. And they're going to be students that used to learn with you, and they're not going to get to learn with you anymore. They're going to learn with the new person, but that new person needs to treat them just as amazingly, care about them just as much, and you need to strive for that small business feeling that you had when you're on your own. Same with the admin side. You're not going to answer all the emails. You're not going to rush to all the calls anymore. You're going to have other people helping you as you grow, and they need to have that same level of care for your customers and greet people by their first names and all these sorts of things, so that our customers don't feel like they are just another number or just another student as you grow and you start to celebrate some of those milestones of 100 students, 200, 500, 1,000. People need to feel like they're still part of something, rather than just a number in now just a big sort of school. So there are my sort of top 10 tips for the last 10 years. I'd love you to comment below if there's something that has made an impact for you, something that's inspired you to take action in some way. Please comment below. I do read all the comments, and I'd love to hear what you found helpful and what action you might be taking out of something from today.